Everybody. So we had incredible job numbers today. You saw that, and we have good everything, good numbers. But the job numbers just came out, and they were fantastic, far better than even anticipated. They anticipated pretty good, but they had no idea it was going to be that. And unfortunately, we're in a world where for the last 15 years or so, when you have good numbers, the market goes down. When you have bad numbers, the market goes up because too much emphasis is placed on inflation. And you don't have to have inflation by having growth. And we have great growth, and that doesn't mean inflation. In fact, it can be anti-inflation growth. So I hope the market starts to learn that when you have good numbers, the market should go up, not down. Question.
Sorry. Given those job numbers, do you think the Fed should cut rates at its next meeting? And do you think new chair Kevin Warsh can?
Well, I'm going to let Kevin make that decision. I'd like to see lower interest rates because each point, think of this, is $600 billion. Okay. So,
You said yesterday you're reviewing some candidates for the permanent director of national intelligence. Who's under consideration?
I have 5 interviews, and we'll have a very good person watching things, Bill Pulte. But I have 5 interviews. So cutting rates, so just getting back here, you save hundreds of millions of dollars when you take 1 point off. Hundreds of millions of dollars. 2 points, you save double hundreds of millions of dollars. And so I therefore, from that standpoint. But someday we're going to have to go back to the old theory. When we're doing so good, we have more auto plants being built than we've ever had. We have more plants being built than we've ever. All these numbers are good. But when the numbers are good, we should be allowed to grow, not to stymie the growth. And we had a Fed chair that didn't understand that.
Financial markets now pricing in a cut actually for the October meeting.
Well, I would like to see that, but I leave that up. Look, I have a very talented guy. I leave it up to Kevin. But I've always said, and I've said it for years, when you have a country that's doing well, the market should go up. The market should, and the reason they go down is if it's doing well, people say, "Oh, we have to stop inflation," and it doesn't mean inflation. In fact, it could be just the opposite.
So it's a hike before the midterm elections mean though. They were to hike.
Remember that we saved $600 billion every point.
President, why do you want Bill Pulte to cut the?
Say it.
Why do you want Bill Pulte to cut the office of the director of national intelligence? And how long is he going to be in that role?
Depends on how long it takes to get somebody approved. He'll do a very good job. He'll watch it closely, but Bill Pulte is very good. He's very talented. Did a great job at Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. The value there is close to $1 trillion. We built a value that's incredible. So he's done a very good job in that. He'll do a good job. He's watching for during this time period.
And you want to cut the number of people working there?
I wouldn't mind. I've heard that's way too high for way too long. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. If he cut, I wouldn't mind that.
It's not artificial intelligence. Are you considering the possibility of the U.S. government taking stakes in some AI companies?
Well, it's something. I did it with Intel. So I made a deal on Intel. I made for the country $50 billion. We took a stake in Intel. It was given to us by our helping. I said, look, we'll help you, but you have to give us 10% of the company. That was Intel just 9 months ago. And as I think we made about $50 billion on that deal.
Would you want to do it?
I did a very good job. I should be a stockbroker.
Mr. President, yes, sir. I'm going to change the subject if you don't mind. Did you get a chance to watch Game 1 of the NBA Finals? What'd you think?
I did. Well, I'll be going to Game 3. I guess it's Game 3 on Monday. I thought it was amazing. I think the Knicks have an amazing team. The way they played started off slow, and it just got stronger and stronger. Wemby looks like he's going to be a great player, but they really played well, I thought.
Quick follow-up. Did you see Wemby crossing his arms during the U.S. national anthem? Did you have any thoughts on that?
I did not see that. Is that what he did?
He did, yes.
What did he mean by that?
Nobody asked him.
Well, I guess you have to ask him.
Well, who's your favorite Nick?
Well, Brunson's fantastic. Towns is fantastic. You just have a great team.
What do you think that the game you're going to, the cheapest price for the game 3 you're going to is $8,000? Everyday Americans can't afford these sports.
Well, I know, but they can watch it on television. It's sort of semi-free to watch it on television, but it's the way life goes. You have some, and now if the team wasn't a big success, you could go very easily. So you can do that too, but that's the way life is. They've had great success, and don't forget they've suffered also losses, and they've suffered during the bad time. Now they have a good time. They have a team that's amazing. I don't think they've lost a playoff game, right?
Do you have any,
Very unusual. Has that ever happened before? Has anyone ever had this kind of a run in a playoff game? I don't think.
Highly unusual.
do you have any?
On the new promenade you announced yesterday, Mr. President,
Yeah.
where's the funding going to come from?
Probably, it's not a lot of money, and it's going to be beautiful. You know, it's always been the Lincoln Memorial has always been very tied to the Potomac River, but they built 2 roadways behind it unexpectedly at the time, many years ago. But after the memorial was built, it used to have a tie to the river, and then the highways cut it off. And we have a really beautiful plan where it goes over a beautiful series of platforms that bring you right down to the river. It's beautiful. It's cool. It's a promenade. It's a beautiful promenade. Probably, well, it can come from we have a lot of sources of funding. We won't have to go back to Congress or anything. We have a lot of sources of funding. And a lot of people have asked me to stay involved with the Kennedy Center. We had a judge who's totally conflicted, but that's all right. He's a totally conflicted judge, should be ashamed of himself. But they've asked me in the strongest of language to stay involved with the Kennedy Center. We want to see, because the building will, I mean, it's very dangerous, number one. Number two, it was losing for years tremendous amounts of money. So I'm considering that. But a lot of people have asked me to get it fixed. We have to fix the Kennedy Center, both physically and from the standpoint of attendance.
Mr. President, on oil and gas prices, I know you're saying that the oil prices and gas prices will fall after the conflict ends. Would you limit exports of gasoline if prices in the short term
I can do a
go
lot
up?
of things. So we have a lot of alternatives. But the beautiful thing from our standpoint is we have more oil and gas and coal and everything else than any other country on the planet. And then when you add Venezuela to it, we have probably 64% of that type of energy. That's unbelievable. The Venezuela is working out very well. We're getting along incredibly. The country is happy. The people love the USA. And we have a lot of, the big oil companies are moving in there now as we speak. And we're going to be taking out millions of barrels of oil.
Are U.S. oil majors doing enough to boost output in the U.S.? Are you asking
Yeah,
them
oh
to do
yeah,
more?
sure. Well, we have everything we need. The world doesn't. But I will say, people thought it was going to be a lot worse. Today I looked at $96 a barrel. People thought that was going to be $300 a barrel. And in the meantime, we're having great success with Iran. They're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they're in no position to have a nuclear weapon.
Senator Tillis said he won't support Todd Blanche's confirmation unless Todd Blanche condemns January 6th. Do you have a reaction to that?
Senator Tillis is a loser. That's why he didn't run. He didn't run because I wouldn't support him. And he's just an angry man because he's not going to be a senator any longer. He wasn't respected in the Senate. He fought a lot of people. He fought Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth turned out to be a gem. Now, Senator Tillis is a loser, stone cold. And he's an angry man because he was forced to leave the Senate because I wouldn't support him, and he quit. So now he's trying to make trouble by, opposing anybody. Todd Blanche is a brilliant guy who everybody likes and everybody respects. And Tillis is always like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He should have done it before when he was a senator. He would have gotten wiped out in a race. But he needed my support, and I said, I can't give you my support. He's not qualified. He's not good for the position of senator. I didn't hear about what he did with Todd Blanche. Todd Blanche is fantastic.
Sir, on the AI companies potentially taking these equity stakes, have you spoken to Sam Altman or any
No,
other
there's a
companies?
concept out there. There's so much money, and it's so big that there are concepts where pieces could be given to the American public, where the American public essentially becomes a partner with the companies. And I will tell you, I have spoken to all of them. There's something very interesting about it, where it almost becomes a partnership with the American public. And we'll look into that. We are looking. I actually have a meeting scheduled in the very near future with, did you know that, with all of the companies. And we're talking about it, where the American people can benefit from the success of AI. And by doing that, they're going to like it better. because we're leading China. We're leading everybody in the world with AI, and we want to keep it that way. It's probably the biggest industry maybe that we've ever seen.
Which companies?
All of them.
Anthropic,
All the big ones, yeah. All the big ones. They're all coming to the White House probably next week.
Is the idea that would be dividends for the Americans?
I don't know. We're going to see. I mean, we're going to see. Sort of, it's like you make them a partnership in this revolution. It would be a beautiful thing, and
Senator
it would
Bernie,
make them rich.
Senator Bernie Sanders proposed this 50% managed public-private partnership.
Well, I've been talking about it for the last year.
But is it odd to be kind of on the same page with Senator
No.
Sanders?
No, actually, when Bernie Sanders was taken advantage of with Hillary Clinton and he lost in the primaries, a lot of people think he didn't lose. I mean, he had two of them, right? He lost then and he lost the second time with Biden. But when Bernie Sanders lost, you know that I got many of his people. They voted for me because we are on an economic plan as far as economics is concerned. We have certain things that aren't that far apart. People are surprised. But many of you, if you'll take a look, many of the people that voted for Bernie Sanders, when he was no longer there to vote for, they went to me. I picked up a tremendous amount of his voters.
How much oil have you gotten through the strait with the help of naval escorts? And are you directing U.S. forces to guide those ships through the strait or tankers through the strait?
A lot. I don't want to say how many, but a lot. A lot of oil is coming into our country. A lot of oil is coming into the world that people don't even know about. And that's why it's at $97 a barrel instead of $300 a barrel. And when that whole thing is straightened out, it shouldn't take long. One way or the other, it's going to get done. And when it's all straightened out, you're going to have oil prices drop down to maybe even lower than they were. And you've heard me say this. I was in Iowa, and for a gallon of gasoline, it was at $1.85. That was 3.5 months ago.
Last year, the FBI reopened its investigation into the cocaine found in the White House during the Biden administration. Have you been briefed on where that investigation stands?
No, but I might ask about it. I might ask. You mean in the shelves where they found the cocaine, actually? No, I might ask about it. Sorry.
Have you made a decision on the arms sales to Taiwan that could have been $14 billion?
We're looking at that, yeah.
Are you still planning to talk to Taiwan's president about it?
I'll always talk to him, but we're looking at it.
What was your reaction to John Bolton agreeing to plead guilty in the classified documents?
Well, I was never much of a fan of John Bolton. I never thought he was a smart person. And he was a radical right in terms of war, not in terms of other things. He wanted to go to war with anybody that opened their mouth, anybody that talked. And I used him for a purpose. You know, he was involved with Bush and he created a lot of problems. But he always wanted to kill people in war. And that was okay for me as long as I didn't listen to him, which I never did. He's a bad guy, John Bolton. He's a dirty guy, and we caught him. We caught him. And, he wrote a book. You look at all the information he took. I mean, if you look at that case, it's a great honor to have helped from the standpoint of encouragement. I looked at John Bolton as somebody that was a very dishonest guy and not a smart guy. And I guess he's paying the price for certainly being dishonest.
You mentioned the Kennedy Center, sir. How do you want to be involved moving forward?
With the same way it is. I'm the chairman. So we'll just keep it going. Somebody has to do it. It loses a lot of money. It has for years. It's lost hundreds of millions of dollars for years. And yet it's something you have to keep going. It's the arts. They all lose money. Carnegie Hall. You take a look at all of that kind of thing loses. So they really, everybody, they want me to say very badly. So we're gonna take a look at
You also mentioned Fannie Mae.
The judge really hurt the Kennedy Center because he slowed down. We're gonna spend a lot of money on fixing it and making it, bringing it back to health. And the judge really made it very hard to do that. But I'm gonna look at his ruling on that. But we have to bring it back physically. We have to bring it back, and we have to bring it back another way. So we'll take a good look at it.
You mentioned Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Yeah.
With Pulte's move over is now acting DNI. Is an IPO off the table?
No, it's not. We're thinking about an IPO for that. It's not a rush, but we've created a tremendous. I could have sold that for literally less than 10% in my first term. I was offered. A lot of people were offering me money meaning the country, to buy Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, as you know. And it suffered tremendous hardship. And then we built it back. And I could have sold it in my first term for 1/10 of what it's worth now, and I didn't want to do it. Now I think we would consider an IPO.
And he would stay at, he would potentially.
No, he'd be there. No, he's staying there.
So then who are the people you're talking to for the NI? Can you give us
I'm looking at 5 different people, all very good, all people that you know very well, all people that do that kind of thing, and they're very respected people.
Mr. President, what do you think about Major League Baseball owners pushing for a salary cap? Do you think it's time for baseball to have a salary cap?
Don't they sort of have one? Don't they?
No, it's a luxury tax threshold, but the teams that have the money are willing to spend it.
Well, if you don't have a salary cap, you don't have a sport, because they can't help themselves. In sports, they can't help themselves. Football has a salary cap.
Every major professional league except Major League Baseball in America.
They should have done it a long time ago. I know so much about sports. They should have done it a long time ago. We're trying to help save college sports because they got some rulings that really essentially destroyed college sports. And we're working with Randy Levine and Nick Saban and some great people on trying to save it because it's so horrible.
What do you think could happen if this NIL just gets completely out of control and nobody checks it?
Well, I think what's going to happen if you don't have what they're trying to do now, that's sort of a cap in a certain way. If you don't have that, you really have a problem. And not only college sports, colleges, where you see where Penn State lost $500 million, where a certain school that I like very much in Florida, they lose $400 or $500 million. You can't have that. Nobody can afford that because they go crazy. That's why when you say Major League Baseball, it's shocking, frankly, that they didn't put a cap on many years ago. They had a chance to do a cap and they blew it.
Describe Ukraine. Now that Zelensky has proposed a face-to-face meeting with Zelensky, do you still want them to go first before the U.S. gets involved in talks?
Well, I don't mind. I mean, it's let them deal. I'm the one that got them to this position. And I think that's going to get worked out. I think we're getting close to where Russia, Ukraine should have. It's a war that should have never happened. Would have never happened if I was president. But I think that's going to get worked out. Yeah.
Will Secretary Rubio take a more active role, or are you expecting
He'll
some
be involved. I'll be involved. JD, everybody. We'll all be involved. We want to see it done. We're not spending money. They're buying things from us, actually, at full price. With Biden, he gave them everything. He just gave them hundreds of billions of dollars of weapons and everything else. But it's a war that should have never happened, and it's a war that has to be. Last week, 25,000 people over the course of the month, 25,000 people were killed. Russia, Ukraine, 25,000. It's not acceptable. Not acceptable. Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to this special Sunday night broadcast. I wanted to come live to you tonight to make sure that I was covering the Iran war and their attack on Israel. And I want to get to that in a moment, but I want to take you to this interaction with Meet the Press. Kristen, welcome.
Going to compensate $8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund. It was going to compensate people who say the federal government weaponized the legal system against them. It's been blocked by the courts, met with opposition from Republicans
and Democrats
in Congress and Democrats.
Excuse me, mostly Democrats.
Mostly
some
Democrats and some Republicans.
Very few Republicans.
Just to be very clear, are you backing off the fund completely, as your acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has said, or are you looking for another avenue to revive
So
the
let me
fund?
explain what the fund is. People have been hurt so badly by radical left lunatics that worked for the Biden administration and Sleepy Joe. They're vicious, they're violent, what they did to people. And of course, they went after me more than anybody else. They raided Mar-a-Lago and all the other things. But people have been badly hurt they've committed suicide, they've lost their jobs, they've lost their families, they've lost their wives, they've lost everything. They've lost everything over a fake weaponization of government. Now,
So
let
are
me
you
just tell
looking
you.
for a way to revive it?
Well, look, if it was up to me, I'd pay them the kind of money that they deserve. People have been destroyed. Lives have been destroyed. Many suicides. Think of it. People have committed suicide because a bunch of thugs went after them.
You don't-
So, me personally, I think the weaponization fund is a great idea. And so do many other Republicans. You have to get it approved. If they get it approved, that's great. If they don't get it approved, I'd be disappointed.
All right, we're going to motor through this.
But you have to understand, people have been destroyed by crooked politicians, and they should be reimbursed for that.
Do you think anyone who attacked police officers on January 6th should get taxpayer money?
I wouldn't be inclined to say so, but I have to see it. I can tell you this, 97% of those people, you look at them, the FBI or whoever it was, because you had a lot of crooked cops, you had dirty cops. Comey was a dirty cop.
Well,
A
there's
guy
no
like
evidence
Bolton was a dirty
But
cop.
there's no evidence.
Wait a
that
minute, wait a
people
minute.
who-
Oh,
we
you
had
think Comey was a
170
straight
people
cop?
who pleaded guilty to assaulting police
Comey
officers.
was a dirty cop.
No, but
They
the
had
people who
FBI
assaulted police
listen to me.
officers.
They had FBI agents ushering them into the building. They had FBI go into the building. Those people walking around, they're looking always in the side. They weren't in. They were being
There's no
ushered
evidence
into
of
the
that,
building.
sir. There's no evidence
You
of
had
that.
a bunch of dirty cops, and frankly, what they did was weaponization of our government.
But sir, there's no evidence of that. More than 1,000
No,
people.
well, yeah, no,
pleaded
there's
guilty
none.
to
You know what you
crimes.
do? Try
Would
looking
you-
at the tapes one time.
Would you take it off
Look
the
at
table?
the tapes
Okay,
one
but
time.
172 people did plead guilty to assaulting police
You
officers.
know why they pled
Should
guilty?
they be exempt?
Because they told they
from
were going to
receiving
jail
funds?
for 15 years if they didn't.
Should
They
they?
pled guilty because they were frightened. They went down. They were ushered into a building. Many of them were arrested without even going
You'd be
into the
okay
building.
with them receiving taxpayer dollars?
The people were destroyed by dirty cops and by weaponization. Many of those people should be compensated. Now, with that being said, as I understand it, the weaponization fund was going to set up a group of people, people that could be picked by anybody, fair people, smart people, and they will go on an individual case basis.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the weaponization fund. I love the idea because people like you.
I just want to say here, President Trump is not letting her get away with not acknowledging the people whose lives were ruined because of a corrupt FBI on J6. My life was not ruined, but I was constantly looking over my shoulder, wondering when that could be my time, because many people who I did not enter the building, but many people who did not enter the building were arrested as well. I stopped, showing footage from J6. I stopped talking about it quite a bit because I couldn't. I can't even imagine, had I been arrested, how my life would have just absolutely gone upside down in such a huge way. And President Trump is acknowledging those patriots whose lives were ruined by the J6 committee, by the crooked FBI that had hundreds of FBI agents in the crowd instigating what was going on. He's not letting Kristen Welker get away with her, and I love him for this, because he's sticking up for those whose lives were ruined on that fateful day, and he's sticking up for them. And here it gets even more intense. Let me back it up just a hair.
I love the idea because people like you, the fake, dirty press, the crooked press, people like stupid Biden, he's not smart enough to know what's going on, but people that surrounded his beautiful, resolute desk in the Oval Office, what they did to the lives of people. They destroyed people. They sent people to jail who did nothing
All
wrong.
right, just to be very clear, there's no evidence of what you're saying. But let
There's
me
a
ask
lot
you
of
about
evidence.
Todd Blanche. Let me ask you about
Listen
Todd
to me.
Blanche.
Listen to me.
Yep.
Let's talk
There's
about Todd
tremendous
Blanche.
evidence. There's nothing
It's
but
not been
evidence. The
presented in
election
a
was
court of
rigged.
law.
It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now
You've
in
never
California.
presented evidence
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening
the
in
evidence
California.
to that?
It's
The
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California, it's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with.
That's how they count
You know
the
why
votes
they're
in
doing that?
California.
Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
All I have
that?
to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they
that they
count
have-
the
Love it.
votes in
Do you think it's
California.
appropriate?
He's just absolutely not putting up with this behavior. This is CIA Mockingbird Media trying to continually point to those who did abuse or did, assault police officers on that day. She's trying to tie them all together. And he's not putting up with it.
Appropriate that they have an election, and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a
State
winner.
and local officials.
And now it's the election fraud that mainstream media is gaslighting by saying there's no evidence.
Officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like
That's how they vote in California. Like she's telling him something he doesn't know. See, they're gaslighting the election, the absolute stolen election.
Officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
no, they're crooked.
They're urging
They're urging the
crooked.
votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote
They're
in
crooked,
California.
just like you're crooked. Your
They're crooked, just like you're crooked.
press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be
Meet the Press is crooked.
fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well, you
continue.
play right into their hands. And
Let's continue.
you're either crooked or you're stupid.
You're either crooked or you're stupid, coming right at her. We know she's crooked. We know she's compromised.
Let's
You play
continue.
right into their hands with this crap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that
Yeah.
I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But Mr. President,
You know why I
you've
got
never
that?
presented
Because you have no
evidence.
credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about.
elections
You
in
went
this
to
country, we're
court.
like a third world country.
But, sir,
Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is
And you're
crooked.
crooked.
Mr.
And
President,
so
Meet the Press is crooked.
is ABC and CBS and CNN.
but Mr.
You're
President,
one-sided crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the
traveled
rain with
all.
you.
I know. I
I've sat in the
traveled
rain
all the
with
way
you
to
for an hour,
Wisconsin.
on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what?
Mr.
A
President,
country can never be
we
great
traveled.
with a dishonest
Listen,
press.
we
Come on, let's
traveled
go.
all the way to Wisconsin.
A country can never be great with a dishonest press.
For this interview.
We traveled all the way to Wisconsin. for
I
this
spoke
interview.
with President Trump on Saturday, and we both acknowledged the complications during the interview posed by the rain. He agreed to sit down with me for another Meet the Press interview.
He's going to destroy you again, Kristen, because you're absolutely corrupt and you're absolutely bought and paid for. And that is why you're gaslighting the elections. That's why you're gaslighting the J6. And this is one of the most, in my opinion, just levels of lambasting this fake media, this fake news, than we've seen. You know, you're corrupt. Meet the Press is corrupt. NBC is corrupt. CBS, ABC, CNN, you're all corrupt. And he called them out directly okay, without question. And that to me is very huge. And it's so necessary that we're getting that kind of direct level of communication about the absolute, corrupt mainstream media. It's absolutely imperative. And by the way, I want to go to another level with this. And I want to take you to this. And this I came across today. And it tells you a little bit more about the intention behind the mainstream media. Check this out.
I'm going to show you something shocking. What do you think would happen if you mentioned Jesus on live TV on a network that hates Christianity? Well, you're about to find out. I'm going to play you some short clips. Different networks, different people, different situations, similar reaction. But first, I want to ask you something. Have you ever noticed that it's okay to mention any other name? Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, no problems. But as soon as you mention Jesus, people lose their minds. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about people disliking religion. You can talk about spirituality. You can talk about being a good person. You can talk about God in a vague sense. That's okay. But as soon as you mention Jesus, the one who claimed to be the way, the truth, and the life, people react very differently. Now, this is so interesting because Jesus is the only perfect man who ever lived. But this is actually the very reason why people react the way they do. Now, as you watch these clips, I want you to keep one Bible verse in mind. It's John 3:19, and it talks about how those people who are walking in the darkness of their sin hate the light because the light exposes what is hidden. And this is the judgment. The light has come into the world, and people love the darkness rather than the light because their works were evil. For the believer, the name of Jesus is the sweetest sound. But to those who reject Christ, the name of Jesus is like nails on a chalkboard. They cannot stand it, and they react to it. And with all that in mind, watch these clips very carefully and see what happens when people are confronted with the name of Jesus. It's far more revealing than people realize. And the final one is the most shocking.
I got to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. This day means so much more than putting on this green jacket in many ways.
All right, so a technical glitch there from Augusta National.
CJ, your first playoff game in your first NFL season and a record-setting performance for you. What does this moment mean?
First and foremost, I just want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's been amazing being in this city for as short as I've been, but the love that I've got, I've really just been doing it for Houston, man.
NBC Sports reposted the interview. See if you can notice what they left out.
CJ, your first playoff game in your first NFL season and a record-setting performance for you. What does this moment mean?
I mean, it's been amazing being in this city for as short as I've been, but the love that I've got.
Now, this is the real footage, and this is the footage they showed on TV.
Andre, congratulations. How did you turn this around?
Man, first off, I need your first thank my Lord Savior.
Now, before we get to the final clip, which is the most shocking, we need to remember what's really at stake here. If Jesus was merely a man, then none of this matters. But if Jesus is who he claimed to be, then everyone who hears the name of Jesus is confronted with a choice. They must decide what they do with him. And because Jesus is Lord and God, no one can remain neutral towards him. And this is exactly why the name of Jesus provokes such a strong reaction.
On a day-to-day basis, how can we, black, white, whatever, improve this?
Well, honestly, I think I point to it in the very last paragraph that I read, and I'm encouraged because things aren't the way they used to be. You know, we all have grandparents that told us how things were. We've all seen documentaries. We are definitely making progress, but I think on an individual, on a micro level, the issue is not really skin. The issue is sin. And I firmly believe that the issue is that internally we are flawed. Internally, we need salvation from our sin. Internally, our sin makes us prideful. It makes us judgmental. It makes us prejudiced, which leads to racism. It makes us lash out at people that don't look like us. It makes us look past evidence to protect people that look like us. It makes us do all those things. It makes us lash out in anger. It makes us point finger. It makes us, our sin that's in us makes us do those things. And the only salvation for this sin is the gospel. The only way to really cure that what's on the inside is understanding that Jesus Christ died for our sins. And so to me, on a micro level, it's understanding.
And just like that, we lost him.
Is understanding that Jesus Christ died for our sins. And so to me, on a micro level, it's understanding.
And just like that, we lost him.
Whether you love or hate the true Jesus of the Bible, one thing is clear. Nobody reacts to Jesus the way they react to anybody else. And over 2,000 years later, the name of Jesus is still doing exactly what Scripture said it would do. So the question isn't whether you respond to Jesus. Everyone responds to him in some way. The question is, how will you respond to him? We'd love to get your thoughts. Leave your comments below. God bless you, friends.
Well, that's very interesting, isn't it, my friends? How much did we hear from Q about how the end will be biblical? And also, excuse me, how about the Bible verses, including John 3:16, really kind of talking about the good versus evil, God versus the devil, taking apart this satanic cabal. So the voice or the narrative of this control mechanism of this cabal is evil. It's why they have these seance rooms at Capitol Records to put this satanic curse on the music that is released from Hollywood. The same with the narrative and the manipulation of our television and our movies with the woke culture and so forth and so on. That is actually, if you look around the world, we're talking about losing humanity because we're not perpetuating humanity right now. We're going in the opposite direction. We're actually losing population. And that is I believe it's the first time in history that one generation has given, less birth, is going in the opposite direction of expansion of our species. So this is a real problem, and it's all around the world. It's in Australia, it's in Europe, it's in the United States, and it's very much a major problem. In that it is, we're just. This is an example right here.
And the newest parents.
So happy. I've always wanted to be a mum, so I've got 2 little girls.
I'm really happy. I heard it in a movie once. It's the whole reason we're here, and I absolutely feel that.
But little Selwyn, Indiana, and Ari are more precious than their parents could ever have imagined. Members of Generation Beta, the shrinking generation. The nation's fertility rate has plummeted.
It feels like we've hit rock bottom. We've hit the lowest rates
in our history.
The fertility rate peaked after the Second World War, the baby boom, as our diggers returned. 3.5 births for every woman of childbearing age. It fell after the introduction of the contraceptive pill in 1961, before the turn of the century, when then Treasurer Peter Costello implored Australians to have more babies.
One for your husband and one for your wife and one for the country.
The result, a slight jump back up above 2, the rate of replacement for each parent. But now the slide is back on, down to 1.48.
But we all know Australia has never been bigger. We can see from up here our cities are growing. At the same time, there's a housing crisis in what we used to call the lucky country. This month, our population hit 28 million. So, what on earth is going on down there?
Couples are delaying children. The average age of mothers, 25 in 1971, 32 in 2024. A standard IVF cycle can cost around $12,000. Some are choosing not to have children at all.
I saw what the traditional life looked like and I decided it just wasn't for me. I think it's just been a really great thing for women in general to know that they have got a choice and that there are women out there like them that don't necessarily want to have children.
And those who do choose to or can have kids are having fewer.
I'd love to have a third. In this climate, probably not though. It's too expensive.
The number of single-child families has doubled in the last 40 years. Now, 15% of families.
Then it's understandable when people say, gee, we can't really afford to have an extra child because the sacrifices of having it on your lifestyle and your household finances can be just so large that people don't want to make those decisions. Look, a low fertility rate means that an ageing population runs out of taxpayers to support that ageing population.
They talk about it being a vicious cycle.
Social cohesion is most definitely fraying. In addition to concerns about economic stability and what the future might look like for Australia, folks are feeling left behind. I'm concerned from a human perspective of what some are calling this a human catastrophe.
And yes, there's something else we haven't mentioned yet. Immigration.
If we don't have migrants and continue with the ageing population and low fertility rate, we will have to sacrifice overall as a country.
So this is one of many countries that's going in the wrong direction, my friends. And that's not even counting, you know, the lack of population because of wars and because of conflicts. This is climate change. People aren't having children. The breakdown of the family, birth control, easy abortions. The basically discrediting of the, absolute miracle of life is a big one too. So let me get into the war a little bit. I want to take you to President Trump's comments, and let's see where he picked up on the things that are happening, because for those who have not been dialed in, Iran struck hold on, let me pull this up. So President Trump hasn't posted in over a day. But I think that what's happening here, let me double check this too. His last post was about the drones, the drone port on top of the new ballroom, right? And he said, this will someday save Washington. Judge Leon has to get out of the way and fast. He is putting our country in danger. So this is the drone port that's going to be on top of the ballroom. which is going to be all about protection. So he is obviously anticipating something very significant coming down the pike. Okay. Now, what happened was, this happened earlier today, where Iran launched a number of ballistic missiles at northern Israel. Expect Israeli airstrikes against Iran in the coming hours. And then President Trump says he calls the shots, not Israel. Financial Times interview. He said, I decide everything. He doesn't decide. Netanyahu will have no choice but to accept an Iran deal. I call the shots. I call all the shots. Bibi does not. 47 is now holding discussions with his team while in New Jersey per Fox, and originally hoped for a peace deal this week. The region is now waiting to see if Israel responds to these waves of ballistic missiles. Okay. And then it looks like explosions seen in multiple areas of Iran, including the capital of Tehran. The Israeli military has begun airstrikes in the country. Despite President Trump saying he told Bibi not to strike per Channel 14.
لك شو سريع صاروخ ثالث ورا يا طارق ورا العمود صاروخ ثالث ايه هولا وين اسرائيل هيدا جاي يصوبن وين كيف مع اسرائيل يا هيدا هون هيدا يحتل ثاني وين ورا ايه لا بلش الضرب بس هيدا منين جاي لك شو سريع صاروخ ثالث ورا يا طارق ورا العمود صاروخ ثالث ايه هولا وين اسرائيل هيدا جاي يصوبن وين كيف مع اسرائيل يا هيدا هون هيدا يحتل ثاني وين ورا
So this is it looks like there might be some retaliation. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to come on tonight, because I knew there was some stuff going on with Iran hitting Israel, and also we're going to go back to that. But I also wanted to bring us to what's going on in LA. Now, this is from Eric Doherty, breaking Nithra Rahman overtakes Spencer Pratt for LA mayor, strongly wins late mail-in drop. Rahman advances to runoff against Karen Bass.
The tone of a victory party, let's be clear, this is very much a wait and see.
Person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you and every child in this city.
And so while the tone tonight certainly was celebration and it was the tone of a victory party, let's be clear, this is very much a wait and see.
Person in this room is fighting for in this campaign.
So she thought she lost. She was about ready to give a concession speech, okay? But this magical late mail performance was a shocker. She got 40% of the late mail-in ballots, whereas Pratt got 17.8%, which is very different from all of the polls. Okay. This is going to come out. The Supreme Court, I believe, is going to step in on this this week. It's going to happen quickly. They're not messing around, and President Trump is not messing around. Okay. Spencer Pratt posts a net swing of more than 43,000 votes since Tuesday. 43,000, huh? Where have I seen that number before? Probably nothing. And Skid Row's city limit. Why are there so many homeless people in LA? It's no secret that Los Angeles has one of the largest homeless populations of any major city in the United States. While the greater Los Angeles homeless count has shown decreases in the last 2 years, in 2025, it still found that an estimated 72,000 people experienced homelessness on any given night in Los Angeles County, and 43,699 people experienced homelessness on any given night in the city of Los Angeles. Okay. So that's Spencer Pratt basically saying that he's getting outvoted by the homeless. Okay.
Fucker, first, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face. Now, I don't know what kind of pan-Pacific bullshit power play you're trying to pull here, but Asia Jack is my territory. So whatever you're thinking, you better think again. Otherwise, I'm going to have to head down there, and I will rain down on a godly fucking firestorm upon you. You're going to have to call the fucking United Nations and get a fucking binding resolution to keep me from fucking destroying you. I am talking scorched earth, motherfucker. I will fuck you up! First, take a big step back.
So that was Tom Cruise's character in that parody of Tropic Thunder. Very, very funny. And what's the best part of this whole thing is that it was posted by President Trump. Okay, Il Donaldo Trumpo on X. Okay, so yeah, she actually defeated him after giving a concession speech. So she did give a full concession speech. They just cheated in the election right before our eyes. Okay. Massive 9.0 earthquake strikes off the coast of the Philippines. A tsunami warning has been issued in the Pacific. Interesting. So look out, California. Okay. This could be big by the time it gets there, right? Tim Burchett looking good there with his stunning wife. This is let me get to the chat here, my friends. I haven't really connected with you tonight, and I want to do that. Join those of you joining us on this special Sunday evening. I may not be on tomorrow night, just because I've got some things, and I want to catch the Spurs Knicks game because many of my players that I'm coaching are watching it, and I want to be able to talk to them about it. As a matter of fact, I wanted to talk about some things in my clinic tonight that I forgot about, that I'm going to talk to my players this week about from last night's game. So I do want to watch that. Thank you, Numgard. I just got this the other day, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm enjoying it a little shorter. Appreciate that. Yeah, so funny that Trump posted that, right? It's unbelievable. Yeah, he's the bomb. Yeah, he is. It's unbelievable. So Diane never got a notice from X or YouTube that I was on tonight. I'm sorry to hear that. That's a bummer. Man, oh man. Oh yeah, Australian government, they're going to be held accountable. Honey, good to see you, honey. How are you? It's been a minute. Yeah, they're definitely going to be held accountable without question. And New Zealand, without question. What's her name? Jacinda Ardern. Yeah, got rid of my flicky bits. That's funny. Yeah, Japan expecting 1 meter high tsunami. Interesting. Yeah. Tammy says drop 1515. Let me pull up 1515 here and see what's going on. Let's go share this. And it has ABC, CBS, NBC, Chuck Todd, Mark Murray, Savannah Guthrie. I think this might have been before Kirsten Welker. Could she have been on Yeah, I don't know. Is she on? Yeah. Yeah, I think she's fairly new to this, to the whole thing. You guys tell me. You probably know the mainstream better than I. Okay. So go ahead. Here we go. Sorry. That was I gotta reshare that video on the Christianity thing. Let me take you what's going on with Cash Patel. Um, here we go.
Of the worst. And those stats, while those stats are meaningful.
Did you do this?
Look at the numbers. Almost 3,000 alleged child abusers arrested, 70% since last year, up. 7,000 locating missing children, up 144%.
Did you do this?
How did you do this?
Well, Kaylee, as you know so well, and as you advocate so much for our youth, they're our most precious treasure. And we made it a priority to go after the villains and the terrorists and gangbangers that are targeting our kids. And what we did was we utilized intelligence-driven operations. We took 1,500 employees from the FBI in D.C. and put them in the field permanently, working with our state and local law enforcement partners. And we went after the worst of the worst. And those stats, while those stats are meaningful, and those stats are truly historic. Just think about the 7,200 kids that we found that got to go home. Just think about the 3,400. Actually, when you take the numbers for this year, we're at 3,400 child predators and traffickers arrested. That's up 99% from the best year Biden ever had. That means kids are being protected at levels that are simply unheard of. And that means this FBI, here's another thing. We didn't just do the physical work on the streets. We went to the cyber community and we dismantled 3 million pedophile accounts off the Tor network where these predators prey on our children and think they can hide from this FBI. They can't. We are going to the ends of the earth and the cyber realm to make sure our most precious commodity, kids, are safeguarded. And the numbers speak for themselves because the FBI are putting kids first.
Yeah, I call them our diamonds. That's what they are. And I want to ask you about this. There was a hostage situation, actually 2 this week.
So this is, the FBI under Comey wasn't doing this. Cash is doing this. Okay. Cash is doing this. This FBI is absolutely taking down the pedo networks. Okay. Without question. All right. Now, back to that 1515 post. So Welker's not on there, but certainly all the other major players. But this is the and this is coming up, by the way, the Delta is coming up on June 16th. Okay, 2 days after the event at the White House, the boxing kickbox or the MMA event. Okay. These reporters and networks have been named in the WikiLeaks to have colluded with the DNC or Hillary campaign during the 2016 election cycle. So this is a part of him going after Kristen Welker like this was a part of the severe takedown of the mainstream media by President Trump and calling out their corruption and calling out the elections. Okay. So, and this was proven that they had collusion with Hillary. ABC, Vega, Muir, Sawyer, Stephanopoulos, Carl, Kurtz, Pace, Thomas, Lehrer, AURN, AP, Bloomberg, BuzzFeed, CBS, CNBC. By the way, CBS, Gayle King, who is like friends with Oprah, right? CNBC, CNN, just all Jake Tapper, Jeff Zucker, And we know that what's his name? We know what's his name is not on there, Anderson Cooper, but he absolutely has colluded without question. Daily Beast, HuffPo, LA Times, MSNBC, Scarborough, who met with Trump down in Mar-a-Lago, Mika Brzezinski, his wife, who's the daughter of Zbigniew Brzezinski, Rachel Maddow. Yeah, it's like a who's who. Chuck Todd, Savannah Guthrie, right? That whole thing with her mother and her attempted takedown of Trump over the Q on that pentagram with the satanic whole ceremony going on behind with the 6 feet of separation with the masks on. Unbelievable. Charlie Rose is on here from PBS, Politico, Reuters, The Hill, Vice, WAPO, Wall Street Journal, okay, Podesta Group. My friends, this is all the deep state. John Podesta, Huma, November. Okay, sealed. Do they know? Why did the Podesta Group close? Why no leaks? Who else knows? HRC deal request. Why? IG Huber. Can IG disclose evidence in pending criminal case and public disclosures reports? No. Why not? Grand jury tainted or biased. Everyone has an opinion. Clickbait. Pretty strong drop. Yeah, so let me take you to, bear with me here. Okay, so I want to take you to Il Donaldo Trumpo's post, which is, let me just find that for you. Okay. So this is Il Donaldo Trumpo's account right here, right? And all we really needed was a new president showing the fountains, right? Getting real tired of being the peace president. No more mail-in ballots, pass the Save America Act. This was the nice call, okay, which was funny. I had to put Bibi in the corner. Oh my God. Meanwhile, Israel supposedly is responding by attacking Iran and other countries in the Middle East. And I want you to remember that all the countries that President Trump signed on to this peace agreement, they should not be getting bombed. That's for damn sure, right? And that's exactly what happened. And so this is going to be more exposure, I believe, of Israel and Bibi and what their true intentions are. Okay. All right. Let me just, I'm not finding. Okay. There we go. Not finding just what I was looking for, which was the Il Donaldo post. Well, let me play this one for you. This is the German chancellor.
This is D-Day anniversary, when the Americans once ended a war in Europe. And I think this is in your hand in specific, in ours.
That was not a pleasant day for you.
This is D-Day anniversary, when the Americans once ended a war in Europe. And I think this is in your hand in specific, in ours.
That was not a pleasant day for you.
My friends, I'm sorry for, I don't know why it looks like that. Kind of behind this like yellow screen or something. That's really weird. But oh my God, that is, talk about trolling, my friends. Holy cow. Holy cow. Dead clock, Sharon. Interesting, dark to light. Let me go there. Let me go to the debt clock here. Oh, what is going on? Why is that like covered? That's really an odd kind of thing here. Let me see if it changes. I don't know why it's doing that. But it says paradigm shift, dark to light. Okay, that's very interesting. Very interesting. And also, my friends, that there were some more end comms. And I want to get to that too. Let me see if I can do that. Certainly, this was a post earlier tonight. Let me see. I have to jump over here. The one that I saw earlier that I'm trying to get us back to is this stolen election, and I've got to dig into that a little bit more. But let me find for you. Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. Okay. Now, Ultra Magadine, I want to take you to this real quick because this is something that I definitely believe that Hunter is, and I'm going to do a piece on it. I might get a chance to do it tomorrow because, and I would ask that if you see me do a piece on this tomorrow on Hunter Biden, I'd ask that you share it far and wide and make it go viral as best we can because it's going to be a significant post. But let me go here. Ultra Magadine. Okay, dang, Hunter Biden has to be working for the white hats now, which I believe he is. I believe he's part of the capitulation and he's doing what he's told. Hunter Biden's post, I've seen the future and we win, has a timestamp of 8:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8:49 meme, watch the water. Excuse me. Also remember that Hunter has the map of the Finger Lakes in upstate Pennsylvania. And is it New York and Pennsylvania, I believe. You guys help me out on that one, please. And it says, I've seen the future and we win. Okay. That would be the white hats because, and then it takes us right to watch the water Q. And remember, this was the tumultuous waters with CIA controlled North Korea, Kim Jong-il. This is Kim Jong-un after President Trump liberated them from the CIA. Future proves past. You have so much more than you know. Biggest intel drop in our known history. Yeah. And again, I wanted to remind you of that that story I talked about earlier about how the Q drops that showed that Q absolutely proved that there was a collusion between the Hillary Clinton campaign and the and the mainstream media, right? So watch the water. Q, this one's calm, right? You have so much more than you know, biggest intel drop in our known history. So that Q drop about these networks, they were named in WikiLeaks as absolutely have included. Okay, so this is not up for debate. This was fact, right? Finger Lakes in New York. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. Phil, yep. I knew I caught that as soon as I said it, and I knew that wasn't right. Okay, thank you. Close the secret window. I will go back to that and close that. But I was having problems with, it doesn't look like I'm having those now, but I was having problems sharing my screen with y'all. And let me see if that changes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. All right. Liberty's Mine. Have you heard about the military helicopters doing nighttime training exercises a couple of days ago in Long Beach City of Industry and Irvine? Yes, and I showed that. Excuse me, I think I shared that. Sorry, because I haven't done a show since last week. So let's see. Okay. Yeah, that tattoo on his back. That's what we're thinking about. Yeah. Okay. Let me, folks, if you want to support my work, please do so. Here's what it looks like doing. Basically looks like you, getting off your TV, maybe getting on your laptop, maybe getting on your phone, and going and absolutely just taking a few moments and typing in some information and sharing that, sharing your abundance with me in a way that supports my work. And again, folks, there are thousands of you. There's one of me. If it's just a little bit per person, that sustains me and supports, because President Trump just posted, yesterday or the day before? Let me pull this up for you. Okay. And by the way, watch the water. We're taken to that by Hunter, but we're also in the all the water around DC with all the fountains, right? That's making a huge difference. Water is flowing again in Washington, D.C.'s historic fountains, right? They're all like Columbus Circle. Look how cleaned up that is. Which city do you have more respect for? Which community do you have more respect for? Because he's creating just respectful environments for the people that live there and for the people who are visiting. Okay. I know the problem. Well, I think I did go there and I still had a problem. Il Donaldo, I got to get to him. And I think it was here. Yes. Okay. Let me see if I can get to this quickly because I've been searching for it a little bit longer than I would have hoped. And wow. Yeah, it's. I'm sorry, guys. And I'm tired too. It's been a long week, very long week, good week, but just very, very busy. But just like stuff like I had to put BB in the corner, born ready to rock. I mean, he's just calling it. Oh, this is it. I'm sorry that took so long. I went the wrong direction. Elections in California were rigged and stolen. Okay. Now, President Trump has used this stolen word before as well. And because it's an extra L, okay, we go to the Q drops and we go for L. And what pops up is L in kill brackets, distress calls to others will do you family no good at this stage. We know where you, the family, are at all times and can hear you breathing. This was L, little d, big R, Lynn de Rothschilds, right? Possibly Lord de Rothschilds, right? If we look at the other L, November 11th, 2478, 2018, let the unsealing begin. Let the declass begin. This is the missing L right here. Let the world witness the truth. We, the people, justice under the law. It also takes us to 452 after the zeros, and 452 is enough, which spells go, confirming AWCJF 7882 Zulu 0000. Owls, good hunting. Good hunting. Okay. So what are they trying to tell us here? Okay. Well, the banking structure, that's going down. Okay. The Rothschilds central banking cartel around the world. And then, of course, let the declass begin. And that's big because the declass is going to, expose a lot of people. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. Just going to your comments. Let me see what else I wanted to show you tonight. I'm going to wrap it up probably a little bit early because it's, I've just been so busy, my friends, and trying to stay on top of everything that's going on has been just a whole different ball game. But let me see. Okay. All right. So no deltas until the 9th. Okay. Let's see. This is Bill Barr making the quote about how they spied on President Trump. Do people really believe this attack can happen against the president of the U.S. and nothing will happen? Moves and counter moves. This is talking about the declass. People are waking up to the Democrat Party con. Yeah, this is, and then about COVID. It's sorry, I didn't take you there. You didn't miss much, to be honest. It was just the delta for 2 days out from now. Okay. But definitely there to keep an eye on the way things are being communicated. Now, I want to take you to a very significant post, and this one was by Dan Scavino. Mm-hmm. I want to play this one for you too. Let me pull this one up. This is very interesting. See, the reason why Hunter, I believe, is back in the picture is because of the narrative that is going to be told very, very soon. I believe that's what's really going on, is that they're just setting us up for this incredible fall. Here, let me take you to this here.
I was looking at Biden's inauguration again, and I noticed none of the military had any ranks or honors on their jackets. So I decided to go back and look at other past inaugurations, and I noticed Bush, they had their ranks on their jackets. I looked at Obama. This isn't actually the inauguration, but it is a laying of the wreath. For some reason, the video wouldn't edit that I found for Obama's inauguration. But you can see here, they all have their military rank on their jackets. And the next one you'll see with Trump. Trump has his. And I want you to notice, too, that all three of them were able to touch the wreath and kind of push it back on the stand. But I want you to notice Biden's on what happens with his here, because his is different. Because remember, there's no military rank on any of the jackets anywhere. You can't find them. And you're going to see he doesn't walk down the steps. He walks out from the left if you're facing the tomb, which is weird. So you see there's no military ranking on any military officer there. They don't get to touch the wreath for some reason. They have to walk up to it and do this awkward, hey, buddy, how you doing, kind of thing. And then they stand there, look at it, and then they turn around and walk back. So why? I also want to point out that they did the 21 gun salute with two guns actually at the cemetery when he arrived to the tomb of the unknown soldier. And then you got these three knuckleheads that showed up for some reason, which is weird too. And they showed up way before the family did, because you can see the family walking in. But I figured out why they did the 1 minute and 22 seconds of silence or awkwardness from my last video. It was because they were supposed to do the 21 gun salute after the president got sworn in. This is Trump's 21 gun salute directly after he got sworn into office as president. Now you can go back and you can find videos where you can hear Obama's going off, you can hear Bush's going off, but Biden didn't do it for some reason. And the military didn't have their honors on or their ranks. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now, I want to read this about the 21 gun salute. It says, in accordance with the ceremonial standard operating procedure of the 3rd U.S. Infantry, i.e. the Old Guard, the various gun salutes are assigned as follows. Each round in a given salute is fired one at a time. The number of cannon used in a battery depends upon the intervals between each round fired. Now, I want you to notice that Trump had 4 cannons fired. Now, the military code says they want an odd number firing, so this isn't all that awkward with 4 of them firing. But I want you to look back at Biden's inauguration when they're laying the wreath and he's pulling up, that there's 3 cannons there. 2 are actually firing every 6 seconds, which will bring it to 2 minutes and 6 seconds by the time it's all done. Now, this is interesting here. A 3-gun battery firing 2 of its guns with 5-second intervals between rounds and 1 gun remaining at the ready in case of a misfire. Such a battery would be used at an armed forces full honors funeral or for a state arrival ceremony of a foreign dignitary at the Tomb of the Unknowns in Arlington National Cemetery. So they were firing 2 guns that is right on with this for a arrival of a foreign dignitary. What's up with that? I think you can figure that out now, can't you?
So, great piece by Michael Gazel, HW on TikTok, or jacking at jackig42. And so what I think is happening with, see, Hunter has returned to social media. He's come on to X, and he started posting, I want to say like the 26th of May. And everyone's like, what the hell is he doing? And some of the stuff he's posting is straight up comms, and also straight up, just absurdities, straight up absurdities. So I believe that what President Trump was asked about Hunter, okay, let me see if I can find that for you, because I didn't, let me see if that comes up. I think it does. Let me see. Let me see. I think this is it. This is from, thank you to Peter Ducey for this question. Here, did I lose it? Did I lose it? Hold on. Here it is.
I have a question about Hunter Biden. He's on social media now, and he has suggested, maybe joking, I don't know, that he could run for president in 2028. How would he do, Hunter Biden, in a 2028 Democratic primary?
Well, you would think that, past has something to do with winning an election, and I would say his past is not the greatest. Where's Hunter? Remember my Where's Hunter? It became the #1 shirt anywhere in the world for about 3 weeks.
So that's where's Hunter? Remember, I've said this many times, and in the inauguration, which I'm going to try to put this video together tomorrow of the inauguration, where I proved with one frame the video that it was not shot live on that day. And I think that the Where's Hunter leading up to that inauguration was what that was all about. And I think Hunter is coming back in to further prove the illegitimacy of the Biden presidency.
I'm not going to say bad. I'm sure, hey, if the guy from Maine can do well, I guess Hunter could do well too, because the guy from Maine is a basket case. And I would say worse than him is the one from Texas. That looks like Alfred E. Newman. I would say that if he can do well, maybe Hunter can do well. I'm not sure. It'll be pretty close as far as I'm concerned.
Tellerico, talking about Tellerico looking like Alfred E. Newman, my friends, cracked me up. And I thought to myself, damn, Trump is funny. Trump is really, really funny. And I just love him. I just love him. Let me see. Hold on a second. Okay. Oh, yeah. Maria Baldry, we're going to have on Tuesday's show. So definitely be on the lookout for that, because we're going to talk about how you can help your body heal itself, put it into the right place, energetically, frequency wise, with using this PEMF and terahertz. Please check out snedpemf.com and have a conversation with Nancy or with Wayne, and be a part of this incredible group of people that are healing themselves with this device. Not healing themselves, but allowing their body to be in a better state to heal itself. Assisting the body's healing is what this is really all about. And so please check that out. If that's not something that appeals to you and you want to help this broadcast in other ways, you may go to lightningspringsranch.com, use SNED at checkout for 5% off. And that's for the best grass-fed, grass-finished beef you can find anywhere. It's really fantastic. Check that out. Use SNED at checkout. This is my new address if you want to send me something at this address or just a letter. Yeah, and let's see. I want to take you to also, yeah, and if you want some gear, don't forget to go to snedshop.myshopify.com. That will be an awesome opportunity to get some gear. And let me also take you to the link that you can use with your phone. If you just capture that phone, that'll take you directly to a donation link where you can support the show as well, which I ask you to do so because we need your support to keep the lights on and to keep this moving forward. I'm going to be doing a show, let's see, tonight, Tuesday, and most likely Wednesday, Thursday this week. So if you're wondering the schedule, that is the most likable schedule right there. Yeah, let me put this down and leave that up. And I'm also dropping some addresses in the chat where you can go directly and support this show. And thank you for those who are doing exactly that. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go there and call out those who have. And let me see here. Let me see. Kev sent me something on the tsunami. Let me see if I can bring that up, Kev. Oh, yeah, this is a building collapse. It doesn't work. Yeah, here we go. That's not the right thing there. Here. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting your links, my friend. It's not coming up. What's going on with that? Yeah, that's weird. It's not working. Something just shook California, and tomorrow there's a planet conjunction. An upcoming true planet alignment is a close Venus-Jupiter pairing on June 9th, tomorrow as of June 8th, with Mercury joining for a mini 3-planet lineup around June 12th. That's what this is. Kevin sent this one as well. Let me take it to that. Right there. Now, this to me is all in the firmament. So they're not round like this. They're lights in the firmament. Okay. The Sky Tonight app, you can check it out. Yeah, so very interesting, and also with this planet alignment, kind of odd that we're seeing some of this, these earthquakes and so forth. California, and it looks like the Philippines, a building collapsed in the Philippines. I can't understand why I can't get that. Yeah, let's see. Derek Johnson's been screaming that from the rooftops for years. You mean that Joe Biden was not president, and that was a fake inauguration and all that? Yeah, and Derek Johnson, was a couple years behind me. He did definitely condensed it, but without question, the stuff I was talking about was years before Derek Johnson ever showed up. And I think AI is satanic, and they are going to bring in Antichrist, and also that Trump will be leaving to go back and play golf. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of, to me, some doomsday stuff, right? Oh yeah, and Disclosure is coming out on the 12th. Thank you, Jingle. Yeah, the movie Disclosure, right? It's a movie. No tsunami threat to California announced. Thank you, Nancy. Okay. And yeah, unbelievable. So, my friends, this is again. Trump has not posted anything today. I think he's really busy with Israel and Iran, and this is definitely posting has taken a backseat because of the fighting that's going on. Let me take you to some more recent posts. 52 minutes. Let me play this for you.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer live in New York. Israel's military says its Air Force is striking military targets belonging to the Iranian regime in western and central Iran. This comes hours after Iran launched at least 4 waves of missiles at Israel. It's the first time since an early April ceasefire was implemented. Israel says all missiles were intercepted and is now vowing to deliver a powerful response. This is a Fox News alert. I'm Ashley Strohmeyer live in New York. Israel's military says its Air Force is striking military targets belonging to the Iranian regime.
Yeah, so even though President Trump is asking for, it sounds like Israel's retaliating, right? Thank you, Phil. Appreciate that. And don't get me wrong, my friend. I like the work that Derek has done, without question. He's done some great work. I don't want to minimize his work. I just want to make you aware at how much earlier I was talking about these things before anybody ever knew who Derek Johnson was. And that's what we can't forget. We have to know the order in which people came to the surface, because that speaks volumes about who they are and what their intention is, right? President Trump says he calls the shots, not Israel. Let's
now this, and he is holding consultations with his security team, I am told by a senior U.S. official. And I asked the president about the Israeli strike on Hezbollah in Beirut earlier today. He told me that was not coordinated with the United States and that he is not happy about it. The region is now waiting to see if the Israelis will respond to these waves of ballistic missiles that targeted their northern cities, including the 3rd largest Israeli city of Haifa. but what we saw earlier today, an effort by the Israeli air defense systems to shoot down the incoming fire. Tonight, we can report that Iran's foreign minister is speaking with regional counterparts about the situation right now. And the IDF spokesperson released a TV statement earlier today indicating that schools across Israel tomorrow will be closed. He said Iran is trying to create a new equation when it conducts direct fire on our territory. In response, the IDF will attack in relation to the current security protocol. And so, again, this is a political decision ultimately that will be made by Israel in terms of whether or not there will be a response. But the latest information that we have, 4 waves of Iranian ballistic missiles targeted Israel tonight in response to the IDF strikes on Hezbollah in southern Beirut earlier today. President Trump telling Fox News that he has a message for Iran. He says, you've shot your missiles. That's enough. Get back to the table and make a deal. Guys.
Yeah. So President Trump is telling him what to do and telling Bibi what to do. All right. Netanyahu will have no choice but to accept an Iran deal. I call the shots. I call all the shots. Bibi does not. And the region is now waiting to see if Israel responds to these waves of ballistic missiles. Now, here's the thing that's very, because he even says it's just going to keep going like the last 47 years or the last 3,000. And this is IDF saying that they did strike. Okay. There you have it. So the retaliation didn't take long. Fox News reports 27 minutes ago, hours after Iran launched ballistic missiles toward northern Israel, the IDF says Israel warplanes struck targets in western and central Iran. Explosions were reportedly heard across multiple Iranian cities, including Tehran, Tabriz, and Isfahan. The exchange threatens to deepen tensions as President Trump attempts to negotiate a deal with Iran. Okay. Yeah. So this is, kind of, and Jody, thanks for the Monkey Works info. Yeah, I'm seeing that too, Sandy. Okay. Yeah, Trump needs to put them all in timeout in the corner, make them wear a dunce cap. Fur Grizzly, BB sabotaging a peace deal. But it's also like, who in Iran is shooting? Is it the people that are at the negotiating table, or is it the people that want to keep the war going? Yeah. Let's see. All right, let me take you. Let's see what the latest is. And President Trump, again, has not posted on Truth since over a day ago. And but I wanted to go to some of the comms that they're taking us directly to. And this is President Trump. Just sit back and relax. It will all work out well in the end. It always does. That was a day ago. Again, another end comm. Okay. Another end comm. And a direct comm to post for October 29th. Some of us come here to drop crumbs, just crumbs. POTUS is 100% insulated. Any discussion suggesting he's even a target is false. POTUS will not be addressing the nation on any of these issues as people begin to be indicted and must remain neutral for pure optical reasons. To suggest this is not the plan is false and should be common sense. This is a mistype. Focus on military intelligence, state secrets, and why might that be used versus any 3-letter agency. What Supreme Court decision opened the door for a sitting president to activate what must be showed? Why is POTUS surrounded by generals? This is about the military. This is about the Insurrection Act. Again, there are a lot more good people than bad, so have faith. This was a hostile takeover from an evil, corrupt network of players, not just Democrats. Don't fool yourself into thinking Obama, Soros, Rothschilds, Clintons, etc. have more power present day than POTUS. Operation Mockingbird, Patriots are in control. Sit back and enjoy the show. President Trump posted Patriots in control. I think that was on the White House account. Then sit back, right? And President Trump is saying to sit back and relax. It will all work out well in the end. It always does. Okay. Also, he reposted the Barack Hussein Obama Library in 10 years when fully matured. I showed you that a couple nights ago, I believe. No, maybe I didn't. I was planning on it for tonight. So these are direct comms, folks. The reflection, watch the water, hugging the flag. She, ? Is obsessed, talking about Rosie O'Donnell and saying she, ? Like maybe it's not a woman after all. It's a man. That's a huge, exposure to Hollywood. Yeah. So he has not posted. Okay. Now, Il Donaldo has, and let's see, 6 hours ago, posted this. I mean, he couldn't have done a better job destroying her than what he already did. Yeah. Rigged and stolen. It took us to the L, which, by the way, also took us to Linda Rothschild's, and that's the drop that we were just taken to. With sit back and enjoy the show. Okay. And that was don't fool yourself into thinking Obama, Soros, Ross, Clintons, etc. have more present day than POTUS. They absolutely do not, right? So, my friends, there you have it. The corruption in California that's happening, absolutely disgusting. How she has now pulled ahead of Spencer Pratt. These socialists they're just absolutely cheating. We know they're cheating, and there's no two ways about it. I want to thank for donations. I want to thank Joyce Kettner. Thank you very much, Joyce, for your $25 donation. And that was it for tonight. But there were a couple, it looks like from a couple nights ago, that I don't think I named. And that would be Michelle McCabe. Thank you for your $20 donation. Catherine Drexler for your 10. Kim Lundberg for your 100. Linda Moon for your 25. And I think Linda Prasnick for 25 and Edward Quinn for 5. I think I commented and thanked you for those. And if not, thank you very much. And also, let me take you. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kev. I'm not able to. Please don't send it to my text, Kev. Please send it to my X chat, because I'm not able to pull up from the X at all. And I want to be able to see what you're sending me. Real quick, folks, my sister-in-law, Brenda, in her last scan, they saw no cancer. They couldn't explain it. It's it's a miracle. Certainly, she's taken some really good stuff that my brother's got her on, you know, the ivermectin and some other things, but it's completely gone. So thank you for your prayers, and still some heart stuff, but so please keep her in your prayers for that. That's Brenda Snedeker. I also thank you for all your prayers for Magnus. He's continuing to improve and get his toys and want to play. And so thank you for your prayers for Magnus, and please keep those going. Thank you for your support for my daughter and prayers for her as she graduated high school. Thank you for your ongoing support of this show. I will see you Tuesday night. I'm going to try with Maria Beaudry. We're going to talk about how we can help our body to better respond and heal itself, and some of the things that we can give our body to do that. And also, I wanted to say that if I do, I've had you in the MacBook Pro the whole night. I'm sorry, folks, that I don't like that sound. It's too tinny. I like going with this microphone, but I didn't switch over when I plugged it in. My apologies for that. You'll notice a big difference probably in the audio. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for the prayers for Brenda. I am tired of this show. I get it, Marie. But we're so close. Thank you, Whip and Spur. I will check Zelle again. I appreciate that. And sure enough, Heather Willard, $40. Thank you, Whip and Spur, very, very much. Much love to you. Goes a long way, folks. I'm telling you, when you do that, I can't tell you what a blessing that is to my life, and I'm so grateful. Thank you very, very much, because there's many of you, and if you give a little, give a little, give a little, it really does go a long way. Cat Mother B, no apologies necessary. That's why I give it all away, my friends. That's why I give it all away. Thank you. New York State, get my note lowered. New York State needs your prayers, no question about it. Many blessings all. Thank you, Hunter. I appreciate you. Thumbs up. Please share out and tag influencers and friends too. It helps Dave more than you know. Much love to you all on this wonderful evening. Please stay in the light. We are getting many comms about dark to light. We got a comm from Dan Scavino again about the end that I shared. Stay in the shadows until it's time. I don't want to forget about this one. And here it is. Stay in the shadows until it's time. Here we go. And it looks like a panther among the sheep, my friends. Stay in the shadows until it's time, and also just the end comes. Every journey has an end. Remember that one, okay? President Trump just did an end comm. I don't want you to not think that we are close to the end. And that is what we're seeing here, okay? And also FISA, the D class. I want to remind you that stolen that Il Donaldo Trumpo dropped. It went right to let the D class begin, because the L is in kill brackets, right? Let the world witness the truth. We the people, justice under the law. Let the unsealing begin. Think about how quickly things are going to move once the unsealing begins, right? Jody, Dave has been bringing me comforting news for the past 5 or 6 years. I am a loyal listener and so happy to have stumbled across him years ago. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dave. Jody, you're very, very welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, fantastic. I appreciate you as well, so much. And yeah, my friends, unbelievable. Let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, this is a good one, Kev. Thank you for this, by the way. And why is that doing that? This is weird, man. All right, Kevin just sent me this, but this is the brilliant thing about this is that, and I forgot to do it, was the LL in kill brackets is really important as well. And that's also has to do with FISA start and Loretta Lynch. And so here is the post. Panic in DC, Loretta Lynch talking, truth reveal tarmac, Bill Clinton talking, truth reveal Comey, HRC email case, Loretta Lynch talking, truth reveal Hussein instructions regarding HRC email case, meaning he shut down the whole thing because it would have implicated him. Loretta Lynch talking, truth reveal Brennan, no name, meaning McCain, coordinating to frame POTUS. FISA equals start. FISA brings down the House. When do birds sing? And you got to know that Bolton's going to be singing too, my friends. Bolton's going to be singing without question. Okay. So the LLs are always Loretta Lynch. Okay. All right. And we're going to find out more about that tarmac meeting without question. Right. So a lot of amazing things happening, folks. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Yeah, all good, my friends. Thank you, Kev, for trying to get me those, and we'll figure out a better way going forward, my friend. Yeah, we are winning. The plan to save the world. Be grateful that you are chosen to see it through clear eyes. I absolutely agree, Heather. Fantastic. All right, my friends, be well and much love to you. And I'll see you Tuesday night. Look for a possible video from me tomorrow that I'm going to try to make happen on Hunter. And I'll see you Tuesday night. Please bring a friend. All right. Good night, my friends.